Okay, so part 2 of puppy training class 2. On the notes, the next thing we talk about is stay, and this is one of the most important commands that our dogs need to have when they get older and start working as working on their career as a service dog. So whether this is just a simple sit, stay, or down stay, it's very important. So we want them eventually to be able to sit or like stay for a long period of time, duration. We want them to be able to stay far away, regardless if we're moving. And we want them to do this in all environments of distraction. So that is our goal in the future. So it's very important you start small. And even if you only succeed at teaching sit, stay, down, stay, and that's all that I have to work with whenever you give them to me, and they walk pretty nice on the leash and are friendly dogs, they will become a very successful service dog. So focus very hardly on this. So we always want to set the dog up for success. We don't want to make them frustrated. We don't want to have them fail at something because it doesn't feel good for both of you. So how we do this is by starting small. Sorry, my dog's chewing on papers. Hi, baby. So how we do this is by doing changes in small increments. So we only increase stuff by one increment. So in the beginning, you want to teach your dog to sit and then stay for a second, and then sit and then stay for 2 seconds, sit and stay for 3 and 5 and 14 and blah blah blah, and then go back to 1 and then go back to, we vary that, but we just want to do one thing at a time. So once they can hold that sit for like a minute, then we want to do a sit that's maybe 2 feet away from you for a minute, going smallly back up. And then you want them to do it with other people talking and making noises and stuff. So we do this little by little. You'll see what I'm talking about as we go on. But we always want to set our dog up for success. So if your dog's not learned how to sit for 3 seconds, you can't bring them into Walmart and expect them to sit while you're checking out at the register. So these things are very important when getting your jacket privileges. Another thing that is very important, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, is loose leash walking. So this is a little more difficult for all of us. I think a lot of it has to do with maturity of the dogs as well as timing and skills of the trainer. But we will try and give you enough tips and make this as easy as possible on you both. But you want to work on this day one whenever you get your little puppy. So in the beginning, when you're trying to teach this, you want to teach the dog how to stand next to you without a leash. So you're in your house, it's not very distracting. You give them a treat for every time they're right next to you, and then you move on to walking versus just staying in one spot. So a lot of times you would need to use, you could put peanut butter on the end of a stick and walk, so they get rewarded every time they keep walking, and you don't have to bend down too much. And you want to make it so that being next to you, especially if you start moving outside, is the best thing in the world versus smelling the ground over there or seeing the other dogs. So you want to let them choose to be with you or not choose to be with you. So they cannot choose to be with you and not get all the super exciting stuff, or they can choose to be with you and they get all the exciting stuff and they have a happy training session with mom. So yeah, loose leash walking, there's a lot of different things. I'll work individually with you, but you want to talk to your dog the whole time. If you're like, hey puppy, what do you do today? Are you going to be a good boy? I'd love to take you to the dog park later. I got you some nice treats and a bone, and we're just going to walk to class and be a good boy, not stare at everyone else, and just keep talking to the dog like you're a crazy person. And it's totally normal. And it's great. So have a conversation with your dog. Make it yourself more interesting than all the other things that they're seeing, and they will learn to love to walk next to you. So if they are pulling on the leash, here's some like really quick things to maybe do. Teaching the command easy is going to be later, but you can stop completely, just freeze whenever they pull, and if they start to move back your way, you click, yes, that was a good boy for coming back here, and then you keep walking. Or you can walk the opposite way. Say they're pulling to the dog park because they know that's the dog park. You start walking the other way like, nope, we're not going there if you're pulling on the leash. Try it again. They pull, turn back around. Eventually, they're going to get tired and they're not going to pull anymore and you can keep going. Or if the situation's just taking too long to have them calm down, you should just probably start over and set them up for success next time. You can also walk in unpredictable positions. So if you're walking here and the dog's pulling in front of you, walk into the way of the dog and turn around, and then go slow, and then fast, and then turn around. It's really hard to see what I'm talking about unless I'm doing it. So Google like Kiko Pup or stuff like that on YouTube, and they usually have good resources there. But it's going to be a long-term thing. You're always going to be working on loose leash walking, and that's totally normal, and I will be there to help you. So just let them, you don't want to let them get too far ahead. So maybe a 1.5 feet of the leash you can leave slacked. But if they keep going forward, you just stop again and then use the other techniques that we were talking about, using a treat to lure them back into place and stuff like that. But you don't want them to walk super in front of you, so always have a tight grip on that leash. You're going to grow some muscles if you haven't holding that leash. It'll be something you'll learn. And you want to do this before the dog gets really big. It's a lot harder to fix issues when they're huge. So when you do get jacket privileges to bring your service dog in training out in public, the most important thing is to be confident in your ability and in your dog. And if you're not feeling the dog's ready, then don't go in there. You can try other lesser stressful things. But act like you belong there. Act like you know you're supposed to be there, which you do. So, and I will be there for you if you get in trouble, because they don't understand the laws. So, experience is going to help you the most. Having experience with untrained dogs, medium trained dogs, fully trained service dogs with us. So if you need help learning how to handle a dog, let me know. And when you get your dog, it's likely going to be a puppy, so it's best time to start learning with them. But it's also good to see how it feels when you work a dog in public before you actually have to work the dog that you have in public. So whenever people ask you about your service dog, you don't want to bore them too much with too much information, and we also don't want to give them information that they can do bad things with. And but we always want to be polite, and we don't have to answer every question that people ask, and you can say that too. But so if you're like, they're like, oh, what's his name, and you're like, so and so, and then they know their name. If your dog gets distracted by people saying its name, probably don't tell them that dog's name. Tell them a fake name or something. So if they start talking to him, he'll be like, what are you saying? And also, you should be able to tell the difference between someone who's rudely asking a question or who is actually curious about what service dogs are for and stuff like that. So we just don't want to go into too much detail that they can bring a service dog in public, because then we end up having people faking service dogs, and it's just bad stuff. But your response will be based differently. So if they come up rudely to you, you may not even want to answer any of their questions. Like, I would love to talk to you, but we always need someone to ask before they pet, or just teach them stuff as we go, and I'll teach you how to do that. Because if they start reaching for their dog, you can take their hand, shake it, and be like, hi, my name is Sammy. So you want them to address you as a person before the dog. So it can be offensive for people that have service dogs and need them, that they just are being addressed as their dog. So it can be rude. There's a lot of rude stuff that happens, and I'll teach you how to handle that. But if someone asks you what's his name, you don't want to go on and say, oh, he was donated by this person, he's blah, blah, blah. Just say the answer, and then, smile and keep walking. So in case of confrontation, you may get this. It depends on the area you're in. But if someone asks you, you can't have that dog here, you say, this dog's a service dog in training. And if they bother you some more, say, in Texas, I have the right by our laws to bring the dog in because I'm a trainer with an approved organization. So you just need to say, the Texas law gives me access with a service dog in training. And if they continue to pry, just give them their card. If they deny access for you, if they don't let you go in, you want to write down the date, the time, what they were saying, get the manager's name and phone number and email, and I will later give them information about service dogs so this doesn't happen next time. But you definitely want to give them cards so that they can look this up on their own, because it can be a serious issue of civil rights and stuff if people are not being allowed into a store because of their service dog. That's discrimination based off disability. So although you're not the one needing the service dog, we want to avoid that for the future people that do need the service dog. So we are ambassadors of this cause, and we want to represent us well and pave the path to make it easier on other individuals with disabilities. So if it is something like you absolutely have to go there, like, and you have your dog and they completely deny you, you can contact me and I can see if I can come up there and make sure they let us in. But we want to try the passive way first. Or you can also call the police, but I've had a bad situation with this where the police officer did not know the laws and also kicked me out. That was a mess since I had to talk with their supervisor and all that, but a lot of times it's like a civil issue, not a criminal issue, but it's kind of both in Texas, so it's a gray area. I recommend contacting me ASAP, and we'll go from there. If the dog poos or pees in a outing, you definitely need to clean that up ASAP. You should always have a cleanup emergency kit with you inside your dog's jacket. I recommend little diapers are helpful if it's pee, and hand sanitizer and poop bags and all that stuff should always be in your jacket because you never know when this would happen. They could get a stomach ache. They could have refused to go outside because it was pouring rain and you needed to go to their class or something. It does happen. It has happened. It's happened to me, and I've trained dogs for a long time, but it has happened to me too. And you let them out before. Sometimes just stuff happens, and don't panic, but also don't make the world see it. So try your best to clean it up. And if you don't clean it up well enough, then definitely go tell the store manager it's okay. Let them know, I am so sorry, but my dog has a stomach ache today and had an accident. I tried cleaning it up. It's over here. I would be happy to clean it if you have the supplies and stuff like that. Like, do it in a very professional way. Don't panic and stuff. You'll make the situation worse. But if the dog does have an accident or is being disruptive or poses a danger to other people, or just the normal mode of operation starts to halt because of your dog, they can ask you to leave. That is their legal right to ask you to leave. So you need to keep your dog under control at all times. There's no exceptions to this. And lastly, socialization. This is the key job of a puppy trainer. So if you do not do anything else in the world, you have a socialized dog, they know how to stay, sit, and down, and they have pretty good basics on leash manners, you will be golden. Your dog will be golden. So this is your main job with Texas Service Dogs, is socializing. It's critical that service dogs are going to be unflappable. So we want them to be bomb-proof. In the case, with anything that they get shown, they could have a leaf blower by them down the street and they're just like, oh, hey, leaf blower. That's what we want. We want them to be ready for everything and anything, so we need to expose them to this stuff ASAP. So the critical socialization period is usually around like 8 to 12 weeks old, but sometimes it can go a little bit further, like into 16 weeks old. But when they are a baby puppy, this is number one thing is potty training and socialization. We need to bring them to other friendly dogs. We need them to meet other people of different races, sizes, disabilities, facial hair, all this stuff. I'm going to give you a paper of a checklist of things you should be socializing the dog to. And socialization is not just desensitizing them to everything. It's about making their experience with these things a positive one. So when you're giving a dog a bath and you're just drowning them in the pool and they're like, oh, in the bath, and they're like, oh, I hate this. That's not socializing it. We want it to be a fun experience. So you just pour a little water on them. Woo, yay, good dog. Yay, good dog. Here's some treats. Oh, yay, going into the bathtub is an exciting thing. Oh, hi, baby. Yeah, you're a good baby. So that's the point of it, is making these things positive experiences so that later in their life they're going to be better prepared for this, and they're going to remember this was not a bad thing and not scary. So we want the dogs to always be confident and happy, and we don't want to coddle them if they do start to get scared. We don't want to be like, oh, it's okay, because then eventually they may start to be like, oh, she's saying it's okay. That tone makes me wonder, is this something I should be scared of? But set them up for success, that they're not going to be over bombarded by everything at once. Just little things here and there, like definitely different flooring, like we want to try and get them to potty on like rocks and on grass and different areas when we say the command, go potty. So we want to show them to all different types of flooring. Some are reflective and it scares dogs, and some stairs have holes through them that they can see and they get scared of it. So just expose them to everything that you can, and if you need help with ideas on what to expose your dog to, just ask me. Alright, thanks for sitting with me for class 2. I do have more to come, so see you soon.